Hi there, welcome to Easy English Grammar. I am Hussyn Akeb. Well, today we're going to know the difference between if, when, if, unless, and if, in case. Let's get started. Well, now take a look at these examples. If you run, you use up energy. And when you run, you use up energy. Now the question is there any difference between if and when here? In fact, there is no difference between if and when here. If and when are the same. Why? We can use if or when they mean every time. If here means every time you run, you use up energy. And when here also means every time you run, you use up energy. So, if and when are the same when they mean every time. Another example, when you say, if you boil water, it turns into steam. Or when you boil water, it turns into steam. In fact, if and when in these examples are the same because they mean every time you boil water, it turns into steam. Now take a look at these examples. If you hear any news, can you ring me? And when you hear some news, can you ring me? The question is there any difference between if and when in these examples? In fact, yes, there is a difference between if and when here. If you hear any news means you might hear some news. In fact, we use if when there is only a chance something is going to happen. Or we use if when we think something might happen, but we're not sure. On the other hand, when here means you will hear some news. We use when there is 100% certainty something is going to happen, or when we know something will happen or should happen. So you can say that when is 100% certainty something will happen. So when you hear some news means you will hear some news. But if is 50% something might happen. Now about the difference between if and unless. Take a look at these examples. If you study hard, you will pass the exam, I mean. And unless you study hard, you will pass. Now the question is there any difference between if and unless in these examples? Well, in fact, the first example is right, correct. If you study hard, you will pass. And if you don't study, you won't pass. That's it. But something went wrong with the second example. The word unless means if not. So unless you study means if you don't study. If you don't study hard, you will pass? Of course not. Unless you cheat. So you cannot say, unless you study hard, you will pass. You must say, unless you study hard, you won't pass. Or you can say, unless you study hard, you will fail. But you cannot say, unless you study hard, you will pass. As I told you, because the word unless means if not. Unless you study means if you don't study. Another point I want to tell you about. Can I say, unless you don't study, you will pass? Of course not. you cannot use negative with the word unless, because the word unless itself means negative. As I told you, unless means if not. So you cannot use negative with another negative. Now about the difference between if and in case. Take a look at these examples. If it rains, I will bring the washing, and in case it rains, I will bring the washing. Now, is there any difference between if and in case in these examples? Well, as I told you previously that we use if for things that may or may not happen. If as a conditional shows that the action itself won't happen unless the if clause happens. So the action itself, bring the washing, won't happen unless it rains. If it doesn't rain, I won't bring the washing. So as I told you, if means something may or may not happen. On the other hand, we use in case to show that the action is being taken. The action is being taken right now. So, in case it rains, I will bring the washing means I will bring the washing right now. I will do the action right now, whether it rains or not. So, in case sentence, I will do the action whether the in case clause happens or not. But in if sentence, I won't do the action unless the if clause happens. Well, you can leave a comment for any questions, and don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you get a notification every time a new lesson is published. Thanks for watching. See you.